You wake up, you touch your phone. In a few seconds, you can see what hundreds of people are doing with their lives, their bodies, their jobs, their travels, their relationships, and without even noticing, you begin to compare. Look at their house. Look at their body. Look at their partner. Look at their success. You do not say it out loud, but inside, a quiet sentence appears. I am behind. Today, we are going to talk about this habit of comparing yourself to others. Why it feels so natural, why it hurts so much, and how you can step out of this trap without pretending you do not care about progress. And before we dive in, if you appreciate content that speaks honestly about the inner world, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. That simple action tells the platform and tells me to keep creating deep, practical content, not just surface motivation. Now, Part 1. Comparison is natural, but not always healthy. Let us start with some honesty. You will never eliminate comparison completely. The human brain was built to compare. In the past, we compared to understand our place in the group, to stay safe, to survive. Am I stronger or weaker? Am I accepted or rejected? So do not hate yourself for comparing. You are not broken. You are human. The problem is not the existence of comparison. The problem is the way we use it today. We compare ourselves to edited photos, carefully selected moments, and highlight reels of people we barely know. And then we use these comparisons to attack our own value. This is where comparison stops being information and becomes poison. Part 2. The hidden question behind comparison. When you compare yourself to someone else, there is always a hidden question inside. Am I enough? You see someone more successful and the brain thinks, if they are winning and I am not, maybe it means I am less. You see someone more attractive and the brain whispers, if they are beautiful and I am not like that, maybe I do not deserve love. So comparison becomes a tool to measure your worth. But here is the problem. Worth is not a number on a scoreboard. You cannot calculate it by adding likes, followers, money, grades, or compliments. Comparing numbers to measure your worth is like using a thermometer to measure how kind you are. It does not work. Part 3. You never see the full story. One reason comparison is so unfair is that you compare your inside with someone else's outside. You know your doubts, your fears, your mistakes, your failures. But when you look at others, you see curated versions. You see the moment they got the job, not the years they spent feeling lost. You see the picture of their perfect couple, not the arguments at night, not the loneliness in their head. You see the before and after of their body, not the insecurity that still whispers in the mirror. When you compare, you are comparing your full documentary with their movie trailer. Of course you feel behind. Part 4. Different paths, different timing. We act as if life was a race with one track, one timeline, one correct speed. Finish school by this age, get a job by this age, get married, buy a house, have children by this age. But life is not a highway with one lane. It is more like a forest with many paths. Some people start fast and slow down later. Others start slow and accelerate in the second half. Some change direction completely at 40 or 50 and finally feel aligned. When you compare your timing to someone else's, you are ignoring your own story, your own context, your own lessons. You're judging a book by which page someone else is on. Part 5. Comparison and identity. Let us go deeper. Why do some comparisons hurt more than others? Because they touch your identity. If you see yourself as the smart one, you will feel more pain when someone else seems smarter. If you see yourself as the attractive one, you will suffer more when you meet someone more attractive. If your identity is built on being better than, you will spend your life protecting that position. Always checking. Am I still ahead? This creates constant anxiety. A healthier identity is not. I am better than others. It is. I am a human being with value, learning, growing on my own path. When you believe this, other people's success does not feel like a threat to your existence. Part 6. Social media, a comparison machine. We need to talk about social media. Social media is not evil. It can connect, educate, inspire. But it is also a comparison machine. You see hundreds of people every day, but you do not see them in a balanced way. You see whatever the algorithm decides will grab your attention. Usually, beauty, drama, success. Your brain collects these images and builds a distorted idea of what normal looks like. It thinks, everyone is doing better than me. But remember, you are seeing the most intense 1% of their lives and comparing it to the quiet 100% of your own. Part 7. How comparison steals joy. There is a famous sentence. Comparison is the thief of joy. You can test it. Think about something you feel proud of. Maybe you paid a debt. Maybe you learned a skill. Maybe you improved your health. Now imagine someone who did the same thing faster, earlier, better. Immediately, your joy drops. Nothing changed about your achievement. Only the comparison changed. This shows that joy is not only about what you have, but also about how you look at what you have. When you constantly look sideways, you lose sight of your own progress. Part 8. Healthy comparison. Is all comparison bad? Not necessarily. There is a more mature form of comparison that can help you grow. Instead of, am I better or worse than this person? You ask, what can I learn from this person? For example, you see someone who manages time very well. Instead of feeling inferior, you become curious. How do they plan their day? What habits do they use? You keep your sense of worth, but you allow others to inspire you. Healthy comparison inspires and teaches. Unhealthy comparison shames and paralyzes. The difference is the emotion and the story that you add after you compare. Part 9. Your only fair comparison. There is one person you can compare yourself to in a fair way. Your past self. Not your friend. Not that influencer. Not your cousin. You. Yesterday, last month, last year. Ask, how have I grown in the past 12 months? Maybe you are a bit more patient. Maybe you handle stress better. Maybe you communicate more honestly. These changes are real victories, even if they are not visible on social media. When you compare yourself with your past self, you focus on progress, not on competition. Part 10. Practices to reduce harmful comparison. Let us get practical. How can you reduce the habit of comparing yourself in a painful way? Here are some practices. Practice 1. Limit exposure. If certain apps, accounts, or people always make you feel inferior, be honest. You may need to mute, unfollow, or reduce contact. Protect your mental space. Practice 2. Name the feeling. When comparison appears, pause. Say to yourself, I am feeling envy. I am feeling inferior. I am feeling behind. Naming reduces the power of the emotion. It becomes something you notice, not something you are. Practice 3. Ask a better question. Instead of, why are they better than me? Ask, what do I really want for my life? And what small step can I take today? You shift from obsession with others to responsibility for your own path. Practice 4. Gratitude for your own journey. This is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is about recognizing what is already good. Each day, notice 3 things you appreciate about your current life, your body, your mind, your relationships, your opportunities. This trains your brain to see value in what you have, not only in what you lack. Part 11. The danger of idealizing others. When you compare, you often put other people on a pedestal. You imagine that their life is perfect, no anxiety, no confusion, no loneliness. But every human carries some kind of struggle. The person you envy for their confidence may fight silent insecurity. The person you envy for their relationship may feel unseen at home. The person you envy for their success may feel crushed by pressure. Idealizing others dehumanizes them and devalues you. When you remember that each person carries invisible battles, your comparison becomes softer, more compassionate. Part 12. Self-compassion as an antidote to comparison. One of the most powerful antidotes to toxic comparison is self-compassion. Self-compassion is not self-pity. It is not, I am a victim. It is speaking to yourself with the same kindness you would offer a good friend who is struggling. When you notice comparison, you can say inside, of course you feel this. You are tired. You have been under pressure. It is hard to see others ahead of you. Then you add, but your worth is not determined by this moment. You are doing your best with the tools you have now. You can grow at your own speed. Self-compassion does not erase your desire for progress. It simply removes the cruelty from the process. Part 13. Values. What truly matters to you? Often, we compare ourselves in areas that are not even aligned with our deepest values. Maybe you do not care that much about luxury, but you still feel inferior when you see expensive cars online. Maybe you value creativity, but you compare yourself in terms of weight or appearance. To escape empty comparison, you need clarity about what really matters to you. Ask yourself, what are my top values right now? For example, growth, kindness, health, connection, service. Then ask, am I living a bit closer to these values this year than last year? If the answer is yes, that is success, even if it looks different from other people's definition. Part 14. Building an inner scoreboard. Most comparison uses an external scoreboard. Money, status, beauty, fame. You do not control all of that. A more peaceful life comes when you build an inner scoreboard. Metrics like, how honest am I with myself and others? How much courage did I show this week? How often did I act according to my values, even when it was hard? These are not numbers you can post, but they are metrics that actually tell you if you are becoming the person you want to be. When your inner scoreboard is strong, the external one loses power. Part 15. A 30-day practice to transform comparison. Let us turn these ideas into a simple 30-day practice. Step 1. Awareness journal. For 30 days, each time you notice comparison, write down, Who you compared yourself to. In what area? What sentence appeared in your mind? For example, I compared my body to someone on Instagram. The sentence was, I am unattractive. Step 2. Reality check. For each entry, add 2 lines. One thing I do not see about their life. One thing I am ignoring about my own progress. This trains you to question the comparison. Step 3. Past self-comparison. Once a week, write a short paragraph about how you have changed in the last 6 or 12 months. In skills, in emotional strength, in relationships. Step 4. Intentional inspiration. Choose 3 people who genuinely inspire you and ask, what specific habit or quality could I learn from them? Then turn it into one small practice in your own life. Step 5. Gratitude list. Every evening, write 3 things you appreciate about your current life or about yourself that day. Small is fine. You are building an internal lens that sees value. At the end of 30 days, read your notes. You will see that comparison did not disappear, but your relationship with it has changed. As we move toward the end, remember, not comparing yourself to others does not mean you stop growing. It means you stop using other people's lives as a weapon against yourself. Your path is not supposed to look like theirs. Your body is not supposed to look like theirs. Your timing is not supposed to match theirs. You are walking through this life with your own history, your own wounds, your own talents, your own possibilities. When you gently bring your attention back to your lane, back to your values, and back to your progress, comparison loses its power to poison you and becomes a softer voice that sometimes teaches, sometimes warns, but no longer defines your worth. If this video helped you see comparison in a clearer, kinder way, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. And in English, write in the comments. What is one area where you compare yourself to others a lot? And what is one kinder way you can look at yourself in that area this week? Write the area. Write the new perspective. Because your life was never meant to be a copy of someone else's story. It was meant to be your own, lived fully, imperfectly, but honestly, one step at a time, with your eyes less on their path and more on the ground right under your own feet.